Ramon's having some fun there in the community pre-show.
I,
What's going on here, Ramon? What did I miss?
man, I jumped in there early because I saw the bets from yesterday, DK. I saw your favorite barber in here talking about some. I'm putting money on the line right now. Okay, he said we weren't going to show until 4:04, I think. DK 3:04 for Central Tennessee. DK, and
Barber
you know
just
what?
keeps losing bets, man.
He does, man. But he's a good dude from all accounts, man. So I was just trying to engage with everybody and ask where everybody's from, and we're from everywhere, DK. As far as Steeler Nation. Wow, I've never heard of
here.
Elmira, New York.
I've heard of Elmira.
You've heard of Elmira? Really?
Yeah, I've heard of Baton Rouge. Let's see. Excuse me, how many we got here?
Yeah. And new members to start us off, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see here. They like the new Southside Beat show. But that's a kind of a pre-show that we have here for the Ramon Foster show with our beat writers, Corey Christen and Chris Halleck. They cover the Steelers, and what ends up happening, they start at 3 o'clock, by the way, Eastern time.
Yeah.
And they'll come, they'll get you stuff straight from practice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, today is this whole week, we're just kind of doing a trial run with those guys.
Yeah.
Not that we're not doing it. We're doing it. I mean, we're not pushing or promoting it very hard because we want to give them a chance to set their microphones and their cameras, all the stuff that it took me and Ramon a while to perfect. And everybody used to complain about. Remember, Ramon, our sound and everything else?
Man, we had a lot to figure out, DK. A ton to figure out, dog. But we got it there. Wow, Colorado Rocky Mountains, Montreal.
Here's
DK.
Newcastle, UK. Here's Australia. Here's Bedford, home of Old Bedford Village.
Nice, DK.
Wilmington, North Carolina, Orlando. We are all over the place. Sioux City, Iowa, Erie, Richmond. We just had, our man Joshua Dobbs?
Yeah.
Who comes in here? He was just at 224 Fifth Avenue.
Was he?
He just stopped in to say hello. Robert wants to see Zach Gentry become the fourth chef. I'm sure hoping that Zach's got bigger things in mind and lands on his feet somewhere. 412 says that I'm fashionably late. We started at exactly 4 o'clock. I'm taking none of this today.
We did, DK. You have the right to push back today, DK. 100%. We weren't a 401 or 403. We were 400 today, DK, and I know it.
Guys, we had cut down day yesterday, and we have today some follow-up moves made by the Steelers. Not of any consequence. The second punter's actually gone. I have some thoughts on the second punter after we formally get going here today. And I want to talk about what the state of the organization is with a certain new corner who's been brought in.
Yeah.
As of this afternoon, because that might change a lot of different things. Are we ready with that bell?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, DK. This is going to be a grand bell today for all the people all across the United States and the world at this point.
Yeah,
DK.
world. We're into the world. Yeah.
We're in different countries. All right, here we go, DK. I'm ready.
Zach Dixon won't even let the echo of the bell go wane into the background before he wants a hump day out of Moan.
You doggone right, man. That's on me. And I don't know how I'm forgetting this, DK. Zach, 100%. It is hump day.
It's a hump day for sure for the Steelers who did practice today. They're going to get a little bit of a break after this, leading into what Mike Tomlin will tend to refer to as a regular or normal week of practice. You're going to stop seeing all of these strange Sunday practices and Thursdays off and stuff like that. Next week is going to be boom, 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 boom. Just exactly what you're used to seeing to prepare for the 49ers when they come. The Steelers did, of course, make an acquisition today.
Yeah.
Pulling in from the outside. Man, I'm drawing a blank here. It's King.
Desmond King.
Desmond King.
Yeah, man. Okay, come on, little brain fart.
It
Little brain
happens. Look,
fart.
I'm
That
not even
happens.
halfway through the drink.
That is too light for me, DK. I just got to pause for the calls on that drink, man. You need more. You need more coffee in that cream, man.
I know they totally blew this. So they do
Oh.
that occasionally. They think they're doing you a favor by adding more milk, and all it does is soften the drink up.
Okay.
Desmond King was a first-team All-Pro not so long ago. He is not an older dude.
No.
He is. I don't know why he was available. Okay, I really don't. Much less being released, unless it's just a case of the Texans being the Texans, or if it's that they just flat out want to chop as much money off as possible. What else makes sense to you here, Ramon?
They did go draft some young corners this year too. Steven Nelson is still there. And it may be just a factor of let me get my guys. And you got to think Houston's got a new head coach. They're trying to change the regime of the guys that was there. And he was a guy that was there. I also covered him here in Nashville too. He played for the Titans for a little while. I said it yesterday in a smaller evaluation. He's a 2.0 version of a Mike Hilton type, except he can actually play corner, or he does play outside corner. He made some really good plays against the Titans last year. I remember watching them. He's a face in the fan type of guy. He's a physical type of cornerback. His deficiencies, he may get a little grabby. He may get the ball caught over his head a little bit, man. But all in all, play in and play out, he's a guy that you want on your team. Now, this is what I'll also say. Sometimes guys elevate themselves because of the people they're surrounded by. I'm not in the business of wanting to crown Desmond King, but I will say this. He's a good addition to this defense and what it's capable of being.
His last contract with Houston was 2 years and $7 million, which before the most recent Cam Sutton contract, that was in Cam Sutton range.
Yes.
Okay, and he is a guy who can play different positions in the secondary. He can do different things. He's been a slot guy. He's been a really, really, really good slot guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're the Steelers, Moan, don't you just throw him into the mix and say, here, you guys, let's sort this out, you know?
Yeah. You do. You absolutely do that, DK. I don't see any issues whatsoever with adding him and putting him on the field. If I'm not mistaken, when he got signed by the Titans, it may have been in the middle of the season too, DK, as far as when he got there. And then he ended up coming in and playing well. He did well for this team, and it just so happens to be a free agency. Ended up going to Houston. His tenure at Houston, I thought, has been fair. He's been mostly available as far as being on the field. He's got some interceptions under his belt too. I don't want to crown him because he has to learn to play in this Pittsburgh style of defense. But I've always kind of seen this, except for Reed last year. Most guys come into this defense usually excels, DK, and I don't want to, make it seem like that team or Coach Tomlin or Terrell Austin is just that good at calling plays. But guys elevate themselves whenever they come and play for Coach Tomlin and it's still a defense.
Well, to that extent, though, do you kind of take it easy on him? You're not going to throw him out there against, especially the 49ers, because they do so much of that dinking and dunking. You know what I mean?
They do, which is why you would want to actually play him if you're playing them in a slot. I trust him covering tight ends.
Preparing for them, though. They've had guys who've been preparing for them for weeks now. Okay.
2 weeks.
You're the player, not me.
2 weeks, DK. And even if you're putting him in packages to work him in, DK, he's comfortable enough as a veteran to be able to do those things, DK. I didn't think he was bad with the Titans when he was there. I just thought it was one of those. They had some turnover happening, some young guys coming up behind him, and he just kind of worked himself out. His situation, to me, it seems to be in Houston and with the Titans, too. He's a guy that just got pushed out by younger, cheaper guys or guys they want to build with over the length of their careers.
For all the exotic addresses that we've got today, people from all over the world, Casas comes in from Pittsburgh, California. There are X number of actual Pittsburghs in the United States. There's the one that's probably the best known is the one in Kansas, meaning the ones without the H, meaning all the rest of them, because we are the only ones that have the H. Yeah. Historical nugget there for you. We had to fight for that H. The United States government took it away from Pittsburgh 120 years ago, wanted to just streamline all the Pittsburghs.
Oh, man.
And so, for a period of about 2 decades, the city. You'll see it sometimes on some of the old Pirates jerseys, Pittsburgh with no H on it. And you're like, what the heck? Did somebody the letter fall off or something? But that's a good observation. Hanover Fist has another good observation. These are my new glasses. These are my prescription glasses. Mona, are yours prescription?
They are prescription. Yeah.
When you first put them on, did you kind of do this for a while?
No, not really. Not really.
This is the first time I've ever worn them.
Okay, but you also been buying convenience store glasses.
They've been trash. Oh yeah,
yeah.
$1.99 off the CVS shelf. Yeah.
Man. I have one I want to point out as we're talking about Desmond King right here, man. If you don't mind, DK, I just saw it and I want to get to it real quick. Ron Smith, Desmond covering tight ends at 5'10". Yes. If they're in the slide and he's capable of doing it, yes. The height don't matter. It's the coverage skills of what happens and what you do with your hands and playing the ball after that. Height doesn't matter at much at those DB positions. I've seen Cortez Allen try to guard tight ends and not be able to do it. And he, DK, was a taller.
Yeah, he's had some size to him.
Yeah, he has some size to him. Absolutely. I just want to nip that in the bud real quick when we start talking about height and tight ends and stuff.
Now, we have more of these addresses coming in from all over. Here's UK, here's Croatia, here's Hilton Head, South Carolina, South Bend, Indiana. All day long, West Coast Steeler Nation is stacked out this way, says Wrongism. Of course, it wouldn't be one of these episodes if we didn't hear from Mexico. There's just a lot from down there. You guys, in general, seem to be very excited about Omar Khan and everything that he's done. But I have a question back for everybody else here, including you, Moan.
Okay.
I'm a little bit uncomfortable with it. And here's why. If you're going to give all this credit to Omar, and you're going to say, Omar, you're the greatest. King Khan, the con artist. Every move he makes now, everyone's going, yes, Omar. Oh, genius. Held on to the putter for an extra day. Way to go, Omar. Yeah. And you know whose name's never getting mentioned in any of this?
Who's this?
Who's actually got to be involved in all of these personnel matters?
You talking about Coach Tomlin?
I do believe that I am.
You talking about Coach Tomlin, man.
Isn't that funny how that goes? All the bad moves get attached to Tomlin. But all the good moves so far are all – am I wrong?
No, you're not. You're not wrong at all. You're not wrong at all, man. Oh, that is hilarious. You called him out, DK.
I just kind of did because it bugs me a little bit, okay? Because what you're going to hear the first time there's some kind of silly little clock management error is you're going to hear, Tomlin. But Omar is just gold.
Yeah.
This is a collective thing. All of these decisions are collective. Moen, please, if you can, share your experience with that.
That's one thing I will say has been a huge thing inside of that building. Coach Tomlin, and you know this, he has a famous saying, I don't care what a good idea comes from, as long as it helps us win. Meaning everybody has a say-so. Literally everybody has a say-so. Even the rookies on the team that, hey, coach, we don't want to do rookie dinner like this. We want to do it like, and I know that's a small item thing. That's not a personnel thing, but he's always been an advocate of everything being included. Everybody has a voice inside of that building, from the front office, Omar, all the way down to the coaches, to the GAs. They all have a say-so in all things revolving around the Pittsburgh Steelers. I will say this too, though, DK, to be fair, and there's a few other names that are coming in too, okay? This one, if you don't mind, Glenn Thomas has come up a whole lot, okay? There was also this name, DK, that came up also, Andy Weidel. His name comes up often. But this is why, though, DK, if you're okay with this. We've never seen this organization operate like this.
What do you mean?
Kev never operated like this, as far as being aggressive, as far as making splash before the draft, during the draft, and mini camp, and right now throughout training camp going into the season. We've never seen them operate like this. We have always, and I'm not sure if this is to our detriment or what, DK. You tell me, because I feel like we've been good for a very long time, right? That's one thing we have been, is we've been consistent as heck when it comes down to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that goes from the way they draft guys, the way they find out, undrafted free agents, the way they go find the very cheap in week 2 of free agency, an older free agent like a Miles Boykin or an Allen Robinson, and we make the most out of it. This year, we've just seen them be aggressive, and that's involving Coach Tomlin. You got to also think Coach T had to abide by the rules of what Kev had in place because Kev had a method of operating. I feel like this time around, Coach Tomlin has the ability, and the fact that he's been working with Omar Khan for so long, their communications are different. Both are a little bit younger than Kev. Both have probably seen stuff at other places because they have that freedom and flexibility to move around the NFL, talking to other GMs, Omar, Coach Tomlin watching other coaches do certain things, but also playing his role with Kev and say, we will collaborate on a lot of things, but we will also let Kev have his way for the most part. And I'm not saying that was all the way true because it's a full collaboration, but Omar's younger. Coach T is a younger coach in this league somewhat, right? Is Coach T 50-ish?
It's starting to change.
Yeah, he's getting older now.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is this. In order to kick in that door to a Super Bowl, I feel like we were missing another gear. And sometimes that may be, as Coach T like to say sometimes, going shopping. Sometimes that may be changing your philosophies about moving up in the draft. Sometimes that may be trading for a late round guy, moving to your homegrown guards and center to different teams to pick up draft picks. We have just never seen this much motion. So Omar gets the credit because he's a new guy.
He does. And I'm not taking credit away.
No.
I'm just a little uncomfortable with the fact that Mike Tomlin only gets mentioned in association. I'm going to tell you that I'm not an exception to this. Okay. I find that whenever the Steelers lose a game and I'm writing my column, and I try to do these all-encompassing pieces when I do, okay, that I leave Tomlin out when they win. Yeah. And that's not because of any bias. It just works out that way. You're watching the game and you think to yourself to credit the players. When you see how they performed in the preseason, what do you think? Okay.
Oh, man, yeah.
You're thinking about the players. When they don't do well and you've seen the players do well in the past, you're thinking it's a lack of preparation, right? Which is something you've talked about on this program.
That is one of those things too, DK. So I have to ask this then. As far as, well, let's talk about this then, DK. And I know we're infringing upon the Hey Moan segment, man, but this is good, okay? Who has been in the NFL the most stable franchise, you would say? Or give me 3 of them. 3, maybe 4.
It depends on the era that you're picking, okay? Because you have to throw in New England. You just do.
You got to.
Because of, I mean, my God, all the winning that was done. I don't care if it was all on Brady's back. It still happened.
It happened.
From there,
Pittsburgh,
stable. I mean, you know which one I'm going to throw into this mix? Don't laugh.
On the East.
No, Dallas.
That's fair.
They don't change personnel that much. Meaning at the top. I mean, it's still, look, the whole thing is run by Jerry.
It is.
Now, that's not great stability, but it's stability.
But I brought that up to say this, man. So I'd go Pittsburgh. I go Green Bay because they had a real good run from one quarterback to another. I throw Baltimore in there. Fair, right?
Oh, how did I leave them out? That's just a mistake on my part.
Dallas is in that conversation.
Really, John Harbaugh just continued so much of what Brian Billick had in place. Ozzie Newsome constructed the way they're doing things. And then let's remember who they were patterned after as a whole.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. But it is.
But I'm going to get to my point, though. But I think Seattle going from Russ to Geno and still having a good season last year. Pete Carroll still at the head.
Impressive.
49ers, I feel like, is in there. Even though they had a bad dip. They did have a bad dip, but they're back where they're supposed to be, too. All of those franchises have had a jolt of revitalization, except for us. And this is probably our first time having a jolt, DK, of revitalization when it comes down to how we operate. You see what I'm saying? Like, we have done it the exact same way for a long time. And our template is still there, but we have from what Swan is saying, like, well, he's talking about your glasses adjusting, but I feel like with this move with Omar and Coach T and Andy Weidel and Glenn Thomas and even Mr. Rooney speaking up about the offensive coordinator and stuff, right? I feel like that was a different shift in how we're operating moving forward, and it's just new.
I don't think my glasses are crooked, Alan.
No, you're straight.
My nose is. I busted it once playing hockey. It was like 20 degrees below zero, and it came like that.
Yeah.
So it's the nose that's off. It's not the glasses. When we come back on this completely inane episode of the Ramon Foster Show, we will do the only segment that actually matters.
That's Hey Mo, duh.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
And welcome back to the Ramon Foster Show. And she says that it's in the stars here. That's what I'm looking for here. We're getting ready to do the Hey Moan segment. There it is. If you want to become a member, go to dkps.net/join. That's how to become a member. And let's see what we got here for.
I got a real good one, DK, to start us off.
You start us off here.
From Carl Stock, man. This is a good one right here because we were doing a bunch of name dropping, DK.
Oh, okay.
Carl Stock goes, who the hell is Glenn Thomas? Enlighten him, DK.
Well, first of all, Glenn Thomas is the only Steelers assistant coach who has already had a statue erected in his honor, and that's because he was hired to be the offensive assistant coach under Matt Canada. And as a result, everything that happens good with the offense this year will be credited to Mr. Glenn Thomas. Actually, he has two N's in Glenn. We want to make sure we get it right, just like we did on the statue. So the engraving was done. This actually was given to us as a gift last week by Justin Work, a regular viewer who stopped in here in the shop. And yeah. I mean, it's just, this looks nothing like Glenn Thomas, which is part of the humor here. He just found some random coach bobblehead and put a little sticker on the bottom that says Glenn Thomas.
What's funny about that is I found Cat Manada's reply to that. Are you kidding me, Carl?
He's only everything.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the guy behind Matt Canada calling plays if you let us as fans determine that, which is not true. If we gonna bash Matt Canada, we also got to say he's doing good whenever the offense is moving. So it's just a little joke on the side.
We do not sell a Glenn Thomas bobblehead yet, but we have other merch that's available at the Ramon shop, which is something that you can access at dkps.net/Ramon shop. Pretty easy stuff there, right?
It is. It's pretty easy. DK.
Rico Costa comes in with a $20 contribution and says, Greenfield in the house. Now, see, that's the ones I want to hear. I don't want these exotic ones. I want actual city neighborhoods in the mix here.
I thought I almost drowned in Greenfield, okay? Or is it Greensburg, the one on the way to Latrobe?
That would be Greensburg. Greenfield is actually in the city proper. It's out by Squirrel Hill.
Okay, all right, we're good.
Rico says, I love what Omar Khan's done so far, but he really dropped the ball today. I mean, what are they going to do without two punters? This allows me to jump on the punting thing.
Come on.
No one's reporting what actually happened with the punters. Okay, everyone is just kind of speculating. And what I'm about to offer you is no different. However, to me, it makes infinitely more sense that because Omar knew he was going to need a space today, he was going to need a roster space today, that he was going to keep one player on who absolutely unequivocally knew he was going to get cut. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
While you let the other players have the courtesy to go and find their next team. Give them an extra day. Don't have them lose their opportunities. You follow me now?
Yes.
Okay. Now, who is the one player that you risk injuring probably more than any other in a practice? It's a specialist because they could just kick the ball and go ouchie with the back of their leg. Okay, so you keep the punter around for an extra day. right? This is even smarter than what anybody thought. Okay.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Now, again, I don't know this either, but it makes way more sense to me. So he keeps a punter for an extra day. And then at the end of that day, he says, all right, we got King done. We got this contract signed. Thanks for your service. You're free. They knew they weren't going to get a trade for a punter, for a backup punter. So now he's free to go sign in Philadelphia, and there's no trade or whatever else because Philadelphia needs a punter. Make sense?
That does make all the sense in the world. It sounds like there was a call and a wink given since he's a Philly guy.
Yeah, exactly. So why would you hold on to Zach Gentry for an extra day and rob Zach of an opportunity to sign somewhere where they might need a tight end? You're not robbing him of 1 minute of that. That's why they let him know even earlier in the day. They told him because they hope that he latches onto somebody because they love the guy.
That's fair right there. That makes all the sense in the world right there. And so we're also saying this: Desmond King's priority on this roster, not individually, was higher than Zach Gentry's as far as finding the corner.
I would quote the great philosopher Ramon Foster from 2 days ago on this show when I asked Ramon, which position would you most want to address if you had to address it? What did you say?
I said corner.
You said corner.
Yeah.
Apparently they thought the same way. So all of this is starting to add up. You see what I'm saying?
It is. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think by bringing in Desmond King, you add a little bit of jam. Yeah,
you do.
To that whole situation, whether it's slot corner, whether it's the outside, whatever it happens to be, where does he move somebody else off the ball? Do you have in your very first practice with him, do you just throw him out there as your starting slot corner? I don't know.
I think they know what they're getting out of Desmond King, though. He's got a lot of tape. You don't make all pro and be trash. I didn't see him be trash here in Nashville. So I like the bet of them going to go get him and picking up that contract too.
Yeah, I think the world of this move, especially given his pedigree. Sometimes, and here's another thing I want to throw into this mix here. A really casual fan is going to misinterpret Pro Bowl for All Pro, and they don't know the difference. Okay? Pro Bowl is wonderful. If you make the Pro Bowl, you've made it. If you make it as an alternate, you've still made it. You're still a Pro Bowl. All Pro is different. All Pro is the entire league. It's selected by the Associated Press each year. There's a first team and there is a second team. This is Minka territory, okay? Yeah. This is Minka TJ Cam territory.
Yes, it is.
Okay? Understand that Desmond King was first team All-Pro in his second year in the NFL. That means that he was considered to be the very best player at his position.
Mm-hmm.
That's not nothing.
That's tough. That's tough right there.
That is not nothing.
That's tough. And it's voted on not by crowds, but coaches. This is people that actually, I ain't gonna say the fans don't watch tape, but this isn't a popularity test here. This is the deep dive into, hey, you had a way better year than everybody else at your position.
I have to keep putting up Carl Stock's question as to who the hell is Glenn Thomas, just so I can keep showing him who Glenn Thomas is. This one comes from Slim. It says, hey, Moan, do you think Kevin Colbert was a conservative GM for the Steelers, or is it more that Omar is just really aggressive?
I'll say this. I think Omar has Kevin's template. You don't mirror a guy for that many years and not have his DNA. It's just like your kids. You teach them to do something, they're going to do it their way and figure it out, right? With that being said, I think Omar has seen other teams operate while Kev may have had on the blinders around his eyes and only focus on his team. And I don't ever want to act like Kev had a bad, tenure in Pittsburgh.
No.
He's Hall of Fame
definitely
status.
Did not. Yes.
Can we do that for Kev?
We can do that for Kevin.
It's the first time we've said this. Kev just knew the guys that were capable of coming and working in Pittsburgh, they're good enough. Omar is just saying, well, yeah, they are. But I do like that dude over there, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what Omar is essentially doing. You guys are real good, but I'll take one of those too.
Yeah, I love the way you worded that, though. It reminds me of John Sherholtz, the legendary baseball general manager of the Atlanta Braves, who built them into a power. Remember, didn't they finish first place for like a decade and a half straight?
Yeah.
They had the most unbelievable streak in sports. And he once wrote in his book that the most important talent that you have to evaluate is your own.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone gets all excited and stoked about going and evaluating amateurs and draft picks and even other teams' players. But if you don't have your own guys right,
Yep.
you have no chance. Kevin was very much that. Omar is literally peeling under every little layer of everything, up to and including, can I get a 6th-round pick for Kendrick Green?
Yeah.
When it, again, no slight to Kevin Colbert, but in the past, might they not have just said, we're just going to cut Kendrick?
That's Kev, though, man. Yes. And that ain't bad either, DK, because you at least give guys a different opportunity to, hey, this is something that may work for you somewhere else. Like, Kev was good about being unemotional in those moments. And that's a good part to have in this business too, DK. It really is, man. And that lends it also to right here too. Oh, you want to roll with that one? I got one after this one.
Yeah, just give Casas a quick chance here. He brings up a good point. Hey, Moan, with the Steelers signing Desmond King, does he take reps away from Joey Porter Jr., or is he the official 4th cornerback? I think he's going to be in a slot, don't you?
I think he's going to be in the slot too. Yes, I think Joey Porter Jr. will be on the outside eventually. I think this is a work to start type of role eventually for JPJ. I'll say this. Corner and offensive line are the hardest to just plug and play unless you Sauce Gardner or friggin' Trent Williams, okay? Even Quentin Nelson right now in Indy is is figuring it out, going in his 4th and 5th year type stuff. Corner and offensive line is the hardest. I wouldn't be balls to the wall when it comes down to just throwing JJ out there, because those two positions right there, DK, you know this, they will get PTSD from certain stuff. Case in point, Artie, I think, was thrown out there way too soon. It's fair to say that about Artie, DK.
Artie had his chances. I'll counter with that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm with you. Yes.
But yes, at the very beginning, yes, that was tough.
That was tough.
That was wanting or wishing that Artie could just instantly be Ike Taylor.
There we go. There we go. 100%.
Very similar to the Kendrick Green, Marquise Pouncey stuff.
No doubt. Yes, that's another one. What positions are those again? O-line, cornerback. Here's one right here, DK. Since we're talking about cuts and players. From Marble G. Solid. Very solid. Hey, Moan. Did veteran players, example, Big Ben, have a say in who is cut, or is it just coaches and up? We have a small say or suggestion.
Oh, do tell.
Small.
Let's hear about this small say with an example.
Two guys, and they just kind of became dudes too. Okay, I said two guys that became dudes. Chris Hubbard and Matt Filer, and I'll even throw another one there. BJ Finney, all undrafted guys, all hustled and stayed around. And hey, y'all like these dudes? Yeah, coach, they one of us. Yeah, they're one of us.
That's reinforcement, though. You're not making it. You're not. He already. You said this in the past. He already has his mind made up. He just wants to hear it from you.
That's fair. But at our position, position, it does matter. If a guy didn't fit our mold, coach, man, he'll make it. But I don't know if he's one of us. So you did bring up. Let's go to the quarterback or Ben. Who did you say Ben always went to? Ron Switzer.
Yeah, he sure did.
That's a way of making sure he's on a roster. With Kenny. Kenny has an affection right now for Gunnar Olszewski, right? That's a say-so. Coach, I like this dude. Now, I'm not sure if Kenny's in the room saying, hey, I like him, or they just see the way Kenny works with Gunnar as far as him making the roster. There are small things that, yeah, you can pull the cord and keep a guy around and say, hey, coach, we like him. Keep him in our room.
That's how you do it, though. See, Kerry brings up here, I really didn't think we were going to keep Gunnar Olszewski at the start of the summer, hoping for more this season, fingers crossed. He's not Ryan Switzer. He doesn't need to be connected to him. I mean, he's made some plays for the Steelers. He is – Mike Tomlin talked about him today, by the way, after practice. Singled him out. Said this is a tough kid. I respect him. He's been battle tested. And the thing that Tomlin said that he appreciated the most about Gunnar is that not only does he work multiple positions, but he's become intensely knowledgeable at each of those individual positions.
Yeah. That
affords the Steelers more roster flexibility than anyone can imagine, because they can now say about Gunnar, well, he can, if Calvin Austin gets hurt, I can put him in over there. If so-and-so is out or unavailable or not performing well, I can put him over there. I can also use him in such and such role. But you want to know a great way to get your guy onto the roster?
How's that?
Get the young franchise quarterback to speak with reporters the way Kenny did that one day out in Latrobe. And he said, I'll tell you what, the guy that's really standing out for me is Gunnar. And it's like with one hand like this to make sure the coach can hear. I'm kidding. He didn't do that. But the coach will be aware of it. They all will.
But that also goes into play, though, too, DK. You know, sure. It goes into play, man. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that one. I got a good one here. I'm way behind you in the questions, DK, but we got a good thing going. This is good right here. It's from Trevor, and I got a feeling he's from West Tennessee. He goes, hey, Moan, do you think the season feels different because the offense finally feels like a strength? And my favorite part of this question, who's your favorite Memphis rapper? Oh. Yes, we had this conversation. What was it, yesterday or 2 days ago, DK? Mm-hmm. Friday. And we were speaking about the excitement of this team.
Yep.
When we were saying this feels surreal because the offense is actually playing this part. They're putting up points.
And the special teams, too.
And the special teams.
That was the thing that TJ brought up with me in Atlanta that I will not soon forget. He said it's one thing for the offense to go out there and just score an instant touchdown. It's another thing for us to go out there and get a 3 and out, but it's something else completely for the punt to go to Calvin Austin and for him to run it back 21 yards. That's when you have 53 guys all looking at each other saying, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Well, that's awesome to hear. But the 3 phases, though. But yes, the offense clicking the way it is, seeing the progression of Kenny, I think that has all of us. And I'll say this too, and we didn't really mention it. George Pickens running routes. I saw that more in the Atlanta game. He was coming back to the ball. He was running in routes. It wasn't just throw it up in the air. He was running routes, and that's something that he said he wanted to do. Oh, and I heard him say this on the Ron Clock. They did it. You remember he did a show, and they just grabbed George. You know what he said he wanted to do? This was so professional of him. Then I'm going to get to my favorite Memphis rapper. It was this. He said, I don't want to – they asked him his goals. He was like, man, 1,000 yards, I just want to get that. I think every wide receiver wants that. And then he also said this, yak, yards after catch.
Yeah. I don't think he wants to be that. I mean, can I just say this?
Odell?
He just doesn't want to be Chase Claypool.
Ooh.
Okay? He doesn't want to just be that guy. When Chase did make a catch, that was the end.
It was.
Okay? Mostly, sometimes without even being tackled, he would just kind of giraffe his way down to the ground.
So where does that challenge come from also, DK? From Coach T. From year 1 and year 2. That was cute, you making those acrobatic catches last year. Now I need yards after catch.
Dude,
that kept you around last year. Give me some yak this year. That's why I was so glad to see him running routes instead of just throwing the ball up. Favors Memphis rapper, man. Project Pat and Player Fly. Easy all day.
We have so much good stuff coming in today. We want to thank Josh Dobbs, not only for the gifts here, the gift memberships that he's given out in today's crowd, but also for his personal visit here today. I was actually coming back from grabbing a coffee, and he's just standing outside the shop waiting for me.
Nice.
Yeah, he's like, you know that guy on there who goes by Joshua Dobbs that you think is the quarterback every time? It's actually me.
Hey, man, that's awesome.
Shane with the scouting observation here that Claypool was always on the ground. Yes, this is accurate. He spent more time on the ground than a shortstop.
Yeah.
Jim Fairfield says, hey, Moan, as a player, what's this time of year like? Just before the real football, like after the last preseason game and now this? You never had to deal with this gap.
Nah, I never had to deal with this gap. This gap right here is just getting healthy and working on a soft game plan for the 49ers. I'll say when this happens, you know this to be true too, DK, just in general. As far as the practice field goes, it's much quieter. is less crowded. Players are a little bit more focused this time of the year, and everything is on a schedule from this moment moving forward. Everything takes a backseat to football this time of the year, if I was just to give you an honest answer.
Todd Mayberry says, hey, Moan, is it me or does this team seem to be the most balanced that we've seen in about a decade?
In preseason, yeah. And I want us all to reset where we are. I'm asking that for myself too, because I'm hype as ever. I'll be honest with you. For preseason football, yes, it is about as balanced as I've ever seen. We saw big plays out of the special teams, out of the offense, and the first team defense had nothing but 3 and outs, right, DK?
Mm-hmm.
That ain't real life, though.
No, it is not.
That's not real life.
No, it's not happening against San Francisco. That's for sure.
No, but we've never had a preseason like this, though.
No. Carl Stock wants to know, again, who the hell is Glenn Thomas?
He should ask every day. You need to change your name, Carl Stock, to who the hell is Glenn Thomas?
Oh, boy. Rick says, hey, Moan, what's it like in the locker room on the first game day of the regular season? What's it going to be like on the morning of Sunday, September 10 at Acrisure Stadium inside that room? Who's in there? Who's walking around? Who's pacing? Who's heading into the workout room or even the trainer's room?
Everybody hits a drive-by as far as personnel, as far as like staff. Every coach hits a drive-by. You see some scouts in town and stuff like that, and just seeing the final product and team before they go out and stuff, DK.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, whoever's in town, those guys that are in town, yeah, they do a drive-by through there.
They're part of the family.
They are part of the big part of the family, though, too. But Coach T, he'll get his coffees. He'll pace back and forth. He'll go to different sections of the locker room. Like, he literally has his hands on all parts of the locker room on game day. Just the first one, too, he's got that look in his eye. It's very – I wish they could bottle that up for y'all so you can feel what it feels like to see that. When you know your coach is riding with you like that, gives me chills thinking about it.
Yeah, that coach doesn't ride with you. That coach is sitting at the steering wheel.
He does.
It's very different. I've seen coaches who ride. He's not one of them. He's driving.
They bottle that up, DK.
Don Beerson says, hey, Moan, how did Isaiah Loudermilk make this team? Did he have that good of a camp? I can jump in first on this one.
Go ahead. Yeah. Isaiah
had a mixed bag. 2H, as Coach Dunbar calls it, which is fantastic. He had a mixed bag in that he is a piece, and he's not the complete part. Let me see if I can word that. If you put him out there in a role where he's complementary, and what you need is for guys to be on the ball, to push the pile back, that's him.
Yeah.
Okay? And you'll love him for it.
Yeah.
But if you're asking him to make individual plays, if you're asking him certainly to get to the quarterback or contribute to the pass rush, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to be disappointed because it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So he has the size, the bulk, the want to, the drive, but it doesn't – he's not – you don't look at him the same way you do, for example, Keanu Benton or DeMarvin Leal is probably a better example, a fairer example, since it's a more similar position. So he made it.
He made it. That's also one of those things. To your point, to where the staff as a whole just say we like what he's going to be as opposed to what he is right now. And sometimes that's all you freaking need to make the team, y'all. It's other questionable stuff around the league too that has happened as far as guys making the team and not making the team.
Fast Jazz reminds me to take care of business. I guess I should do that. Like,
come on, DK, what you got
right
going
about
on
now? Huh? Well, what I've got going on, Moan, as a matter of fact, is that at the Get Go Cafe and Market, quality is at the core of every menu item. They've got 3 expert chefs fine-tuning every detail so that every sub, burger, salad, wrap, drink, and app is crafted for what they uniquely refer to as crave-ability. Order your favorite entry at the Get Go Cafe and Market today. Better believe it. And by the way, you talk about this milky coffee that I have here. The coffee that they've got at Get Go, which we don't have downtown, is you can get it as black as night. I mean, it is something. I mean, you can get it you can get it the way you want. Let's put it that way. You start from that point. Don't ruin it with a whole bunch of milk.
Man, they were on you about the 3 chefs, dog. DK, you were.
Everyone's got responsibilities around here, you know. Tyler Johnson says, "Hey, Moan, can Terrell Austin be at least 80% as good as Dick LeBeau was?"
I would say I think the expectation is to be 95 or 100% as good. With the guys that he have, the personnel that he has on this team, I think the expectation is always going to be the same. I don't think it matters who is calling the plays when it comes down to what the expectation is. When you take that defensive coordinator job in Pittsburgh, it's the expectation. It's not about who we're measuring it to. Coach LeBeau was awesome, but you also got to say, I think Coach Butts had a good run too until it wasn't, right?
I will say that it's really hard to measure up to Dick LeBeau in any capacity. You're talking about, first off, a Hall of Fame player.
Yeah.
Don't forget, this was a guy who had like 5,000 interceptions in an era where there really wasn't anybody doing it. Yeah. Okay. And on top of that, then to be a coordinator, an NFL head coach, and then a coordinator again, and having achieved so much in his life. But then on top of all of that, he read you the night before Christmas. This is just one of the best human beings around. It is so authentic.
Yeah.
That you throw yourself in front of a moving train for the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, you would. He and a great human being too.
Don Beerson says, "Hey, DK and Moan, why do punters shank punts or hit them poorly? Are they rattled by the rush?"
Most times when that happens, I'll go for punters first because you asked that question. Lack of focus. Breakdowns with professional players is lack of focus.
But
Hands
does the
down.
pass rush contribute to that?
No, they see that all the time, DK. Maybe backed up, they feel a little bit more pressure, some pressure. But even in pressurized situations, though, DK, guess what happens? You got to stay focused. And it's lack of focus. Anytime a player mess up, especially a skilled player like that, it's focus.
If you ever really, really needed the other team's punter to screw up, why don't head coaches call timeouts before they punt? They save them all for field goals. They want to rattle. They want to ice the punter.
Well, no, don't ice the punter, because if they can't perform under pressure, then it's gonna happen regardless. Like, the thing about the kicker, like field goal, is there's 3 people operating there. DK, you got the snapper, holder, and the kicker. Like, you make the holder think too when you call timeout on extra point and field goals. It ain't just the Boswell. No, like, all 3 people have to have a perfect operation. That's why they drill it so much. And those special team coaches are so crazy.
Got a couple people asking how to become a member. That's just to go to dkps.net/join. Just type that up into your URL. Avoid any and all buttons and whatever. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. dkps.net/join. A pretty simple process here. I'm not sure if this question is entirely serious from Jack Henderson, but I'm going to read it anyway, because if it isn't, he's got a great sense of humor. "Hey, Moan, I have a new question for you. Never been asked before on here. Toughest guy you went against when you played?" At which point everyone says in unison, Geno Atkins.
If you know, you know. And I always give the 2 other guys too, man.
And Calais Campbell.
Yep, and him and the other one from Jacksonville, Malik Jackson. Jackson also. Richard Seymour was tough as heck too.
Richard Seymour had his time. Oh, my goodness. I don't know that it was a super long time, but he had his time here. Chris Fielding says, "Hey, Mo, does losing Zach Gentry's blocking capacity change the 12 personnel play selection at all?"
I don't think anything changes.
No.
That's
Darnell.
That is also the reality of this situation too. Their replacement's already there.
Yeah.
And Zach's my guy. I don't think y'all realize that. Zach's such a young, cool dude, man.
Yeah, I think I hope, like I said earlier, I hope he does well wherever it is that he goes. But will his blocking be missed necessarily? Not if you've been keeping an eye on number 80.
Yeah,
and he's awfully hard to miss. Swan wants to know, Moan, if you think Omar has had the ability to do splash, mostly because there's no huge QB contract.
Definitely plays a part. Let's not act dumb about that. That's one thing I will say. Kev didn't really have the luxury of operating like that after Ben's second contract, right?
No, not at all. Not even at the end when Ben was taking the team-friendly discounts and so forth.
Because there was other positions, like this team is low value right now as far as the amount of money being paid out, So Omar does have a way different luxury right now as far as Kev, but I still do think he manipulates these trades and offers and stuff like that still, though. I think this is just going to be his template.
Sean says, along with the $5 contribution, it's appreciated. Hey, Moan, now that the Steelers have signed Desmond King at corner and they have Braden Fehoko back on the practice squad, which happened today as well, is this the best of all possible worlds?
Yes, it is. And yes, I think it makes sense. You get a veteran guy there. Fehoko comes back to develop himself and also be ready unless the team plucks him off the practice squad. You couldn't have called it any better. Only thing that'd be better than that is having Zach Gentry being able to go to practice.
I was just going to say
it.
that's your optimal scenario, but then at the same time, I'll say it again from Zach's standpoint. I hope he's not on somebody's practice squad. I hope he's playing in the National Football League.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But yeah, that's how it's gonna go.
Wood says it's wild to me that there really aren't any more botched holds. You don't see them very often, do you?
Man, y'all knock on wood. Okay, we've had a real good operation in Pittsburgh. Let's not do that. Okay, I don't like that you bring that there's not many. But you're right. Those dudes practice that to a T. When it's raining outside, they dump the footballs and water and do it. When it's sandy or bad fields, they do it that way. Like, they are very, very methodical in how they operate, DK.
Are you in favor of having kickers do that instead of backup quarterbacks? Remember that?
Yeah, because the backup quarterback doesn't have time to get enough reps.
I know. That's why the kickers like it.
Yeah.
I also know that from a play design standpoint, it sure is nice to have your backup quarterback out there.
It is, and they're usually too deep. They're too deep on that one, DK. It's usually the backup quarterback's the next guy.
Yeah, exactly right here. Has he seen Darnell Washington?
Yeah.
Cat Manada asks. Yeah, that was pretty much the here's a good one from John Todman. Who's the biggest wimp you ever played against? You can say it because they were a wimp and they can't do anything about it if you identify them. Oh, my God.
Everybody on the football field is a tough guy. I'll say this.
You don't make it to the NFL as a wimp.
Depending on where guys were in the season, in their contracts, and what kind of record they were having, all it would take sometime is one quarter. And the guy would just be like, all right, man, let's get through this. Like those last 4 games for some teams when we were playing them, if it wasn't on Christmas Day, because nobody wants to lose on Christmas Day or that weekend, you were going to get some dudes that'd be like, all right, man, I just want to get out of here healthy so I can ship my cars to South Beach. I won't say they're wimps. Nobody's soft, but yeah, that happens.
Darren Watt wants to know how Vince Wilfork was.
A load. There's no other way to say it. But as big as he was a hell of an athlete, though. He could move and just strong as an ox, too. Vince was solid, too. But his position was this. You move him side to side, they got to take him out of the game.
Darwin wants to point out to me and to everybody, as a lot of people have been doing today, that the next move was going to be cornerback, but that also was done by the person for whom the show is named. He did say that it was going to be a corner.
Yeah.
That was where the resources was going to go. And here again, when you mention resources, one of those that you have to talk about is cap space. And Omar also made sure to get cap space out of these transactions that he had this week, including 2.7 annually on the Kevin Dotson move. He's still got
money.
Does. He's still got money. Don't lose sight of that here. Chris Weaver comes in with oh, geez. Okay. She says, hello, this is, okay. She says, hello, this is Chris's daughter. I want to let you know that my dad's cancer has spread. I'm going to start chemo again. Please, DK and Moan, keep him in your prayers. We will do that. We appreciate you coming on here and sharing this news with us. We have a couple people who are regulars on this program who are battling through some tough times.
Yeah.
And, it's funny when things are going really well, Moan, all of us can take things for granted when in fact every day around the Foster household, around my household, what's the only thing that matters for real this time?
For real, us.
Yeah, it's
the
our
love.
health. It's the health and the love that's shared and everything else here. And okay.
And I'll say this too. He's in here often, man. Definitely tell him we said speed of recovery. We hope it go through, but this is also where we sit and say this is where a lot of people escape come from. Steelers and us being able to have this community of this chat, DK. So we appreciate you coming in and updating us for sure. I'm seeing all the prayers.
Yeah, here they come, and I'm going to keep those running through the post show as well. We're going to sign off for the day.
I got a good one real quick though.
That totally threw me.
From your guy Twiz. This is as we speak about how do you prepare this week from Twiz. Hey Mom, how is it preparing for a team after an off season? Is last year tape obsolete? No, it's not. I've watched film on Cleveland and in preparation for Cleveland, but watching the Denver Broncos defensive scheme as far as like coaches changing team. You look at tendencies sometimes whenever you're doing that stuff. The first game is always the wildest because there isn't current film, but you can go through what tendencies are of the coaches. That's why we always name out the coordinators and what they've done in years past. So what is his name? Greg Roman is going to do the same things. Okay. Like that's just how it goes sometimes, but no, it's not obsolete.
All right, guys, we're going to sign off for the day, and don't stay tuned for anything at all on the post show.
No,
all
absolutely
right.
not.
Yeah, we're not doing anything there. Okay, bye.
I think it's fitting Chris gets the crown today.
Yeah.
We're
gonna do that. Yeah, make sure Chris's daughter. You didn't say your name, but you're Chris's daughter to us.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
It's like me. I'm RJ's dad, so you're Chris's daughter today.
That's all right. Yeah, I had there was a kid who lived on our street. Really, when my children were really really young, who couldn't pronounce Monica's name. My son Monica. So he would call him Narco. And he came about to calling me Narco's dad.
Did he?
So to this day, whenever I'm talking to my son, I say, "Hey, it's Narco's dad."
Yeah, it's Narco's dad. That's what I'm talking about, man. So yeah, you're Chris's daughter today, man. You guys are awesome. Sending all kind of prayers this way, man. It's much needed for sure.
Can I tell you why I got? Obviously, don't know Chris or whatever, but I was. We have such a lighthearted everything show and whatever, and you just get into the habit of reading these questions and everything is super upbeat. I got through about 3 or 4 words, and how your peripheral vision takes you ahead to the rest, and I just went like this, and that was pretty much the end of the show for me.
No doubt about it, man. You guys are awesome, man.
Yeah, I don't want to be the one that drags it down here. I mean, positive energy, as Teresa points out, is exactly where you want to be in life. Because the truth is, the next person who avoids that fate in civilization's history will be the first. So you want to enjoy what's there. Enjoy every moment, regardless of somebody's circumstance. Or your own.
Yeah, you guys are too cool. I'm seeing Brad saying, is there any way for me to give merchandise to Chris? You guys are way too cool.
You guys will figure that out amongst
yourselves.
yourselves.
Maybe send an email or something, Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
her name is Jennifer.
That sounds like something that Justin Work or Ryan Lytle or Joshua Dobbs or one of the. There she is. Okay, that's Jennifer. Yeah. Okay, so Jennifer has a name, which really helps.
Yes.
Good find there, Moan. I'm having a hard time finding her. Jennifer, I know you're listening to us. Just tell Chris for real that we're with him. Okay?
Absolutely.
And that our community is going to take care of him as far as some fun merch. And look, if it brings a smile to his face for about 4 seconds,
We did it.
That's 4 good seconds.
Yes,
okay?
indeed.
So, all right, guys, let's sign off today on behalf of the Glenn Thomas statue, on my new glasses, and Ramon's prize.
Yeah, my crown.
there.
Chris gets the crown today.
Which goes to Chris today. We'll be back with another show tomorrow.
No doubt.
All right, everybody. All right. Bye-bye.
Peace.